These videos are for tutors and parents of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders doing Common Core math homework. And in this video, we're going to do addition using the number bond diagram. And we're going to do this problem, 87 plus 64, and the answer is 151, so that's what we're going to try to get. And let me start by showing you what a number bond diagram even is. And I'll use a very simple example. 5, 3, 2. This represents that 3 plus 2 is 5. So you can say the 3 and the 2 are bonded to become 5. And that's all a number bond diagram is. It could have been drawn the other way too, with 5 down here, and 3 and 2 up here, bonding into it. Okay, so that's a number bond diagram. And now, let's use that kind of diagram to do this problem. Okay, so we start by putting the 87 and the 64 here in bubbles. And now what's great about this diagram is it lets you cut these numbers up any way you want to make it convenient to add them. And here's one way that people like to do it. They would kind of use the place value approach. So they'd make this into an 80 and a 7. That's a pretty standard way to do it. And this would be a 60 and a 4. And now you say, okay, let me add up the 80 and the 60 to become 140. Okay? And let me add up the 7 and the 4 to become 11. And now I'll add those two like this to become 151. And that's fine. That's a great way to do it, but there's a million other ways too. So let me show you just one other way. And usually, the more comfortable the student is with adding, kind of the fewer bubbles they have to make. That means they can make more bubbles if it helps them. Let me show you an example of that. Okay, so we have the 87 and the 64. Okay, if I did this in my head, I would probably start with the 87, and then I would want to grab 20 of the 64 to make 107. I think that way. So I'm going to make this a 20, and because I want that 20, then the leftover I have to put here is 44, so we'll get to that later. So I have a 20 here, and I have an 87. So I'm going to link those two, bond them to become a 107. Okay? And now I'm going to grab 40 of these to add to that, so I'll make this a 40. Oops, I didn't need an arrowhead, but I did it for some reason. And a 4, so still adding up. And I'll add these two together to make a 147. And then finally the 4 is left. I can do that. I can add 147 and 4 to make 151. And the nice thing about this chart is it lets the student do it their way. And that's what's really key about getting them comfortable with math, is to let them do things the way that makes sense to them. And that's how you do it. So you have the answer, you want to complete the number sentence just like that, and we're done. Okay, thank you very much for watching.